The Stochastic Man by Robert Silverberg is a story about a man who has an incredible ability to predict future events. And he is approached by a guy who offers him the chance to actually be able to see future events rather than just predicting them. The World Inside by Robert Silverberg is set in the far future where humanity are now primarily living in these enormous superstructures. And I've heard that this one is particularly good, so I'm excited to get into it. I did say in my last haul video that that one would be my last one of the year, and I guess I lied because I found this collection on eBay and I just had to buy it, so I thought that I would show you guys. It's also almost all Robert Silverberg books because I've been loving his work so much over the last year that I do want to read a lot more of it. We've then got Nightwings, which has an incredible cover there, and this one is just in great condition. And this one again is set in a far future world where humanity are under threat of an alien invasion that is kind of looming in the distance. We've then got Up the Line by Robert Silverberg. This one is a time travel story about a time service which employs these couriers to travel throughout history while avoiding paradoxes. I'm not particularly fond of time travel stories personally, but because it's Robert Silverberg, I'm willing to give it a go. To Live Again by Robert Silverberg. I believe that this one is set in a world where you are able to transfer your mind into a computer system following your death, but I'm not entirely clear from the blurb on that one. And then we've got Tower of Glass, which sounds particularly intriguing. This one is about a guy who is obsessed with building this enormous tower structure to communicate with the distant stars, and he is doing this by employing the labour of a population of androids which have come to revere him as a god. The Best of Robert Silverberg, which is a collection of short stories or novellas, which has a few of the books that I have already talked about today or I'm going to talk about in the rest of this haul. So I probably won't read those ones, but there are a couple in here that I don't have, such as Passengers and Good News from the Vatican, as well as 6 more short stories to accompany those. We've then got another collection of short stories, Sundance, which I actually already own a copy of, and so I might end up getting rid of this one or selling it or something. Dying Inside is one of his more well-known works and potentially his most well-known work, and it's about an aging guy who has telepathic mind-reading abilities, and he is kind of reflecting on his life and realising that he actually didn't really utilise those powers to their full extent. Hawksbill Station by Robert Silverberg is another time travel story where in a future society the government will send prisoners back in time 1 billion years to this prison station to ensure that they can have no impact on the present day. Another time travel story here from Robert Silverberg, The Time Hoppers, with a cover art here which I'm not sure that I really like all that much. I'm not sure if that is going to focus on this guy here, but he looks a little bit strange. And this one is about a group of people who are popping up throughout various eras of history because they are fleeing an oppressive society in the 25th century. That's all from Robert Silverberg then, and we get into Jack Vance, Star King, which I believe is the first book in his Demon Princes story, but I'm not 100% certain about that, so correct me if I'm wrong. The Star Kings are an alien race who can take on human forms, and our main character is seeking revenge on these Star Kings, and I think in each book he is tracking a different one down in order to kill them. And then lastly, we've got Hellstrom's Hive by Frank Herbert, who is obviously the author of the Dune series. And this one seems to be about a world in which there are human-insect hybrids and an oppressive government. I've not read anything from Frank Herbert outside of his Dune books just yet. Human-insect hybrids sounds interesting to me. So that's everything in this mini haul video today. I do want to get into a few of these books, particularly because I'm keen to give myself a bit of a break from science fiction, the 100 best novels by David Pringle, which is a challenge that I am doing on my channel at the moment. If you are a new subscriber, feel free to go back into the previous videos and look at some of those where I review the entries that I've read so far. And I will be finishing this in 2025 or beyond, but I am going to be making some diversions from it. I've also got a new camera, so hopefully this is looking and sounding okay. I'm probably going to need to mess around with the settings and the lighting a little bit to get the most optimal setup. So if you have any feedback on that, do let me know in the comments. It's always appreciated, and I'll see you on the next one.